All right, group number 1 is down there in the staging pen. This is qualifying time practice. Number 2, Kenny Coolbath. Number 1, Jared Meese. 44, Brandon Robinson. 7, Sammy Halbert. 42, Brian Smith. 6 is the Bullet, Brad Baker. 14, Briar Bauman. 80, Stevie Bonzi. 27 is Robbie Pearson. 17, Henry Wiles. 23, Jeffrey Carver. 55, Jake Shoemaker. 73 is Doug Lawrence. 91, Mikey Martin. 15, Nicole Meese. And the 49, that's the California kid, Chad Coase. Here we go with qualifying timed practice coming to the track right now right here at Hagerstown Speedway.
Send them out first lap. I think some of these guys will want to try and chase to the front and get a clean track. But maybe these guys will go, hey, let's preview what it's going to be like tonight. We saw Baker go up really high, chasing the moisture around turns 1 and 2, but see if he sticks to that line as qualifying goes on.
Baker wants to lead him into turn number 3, and he does on the factory Harley-Davidson. Got Coolbath to run the bottom of the racetrack, and right in the middle is the 1 of Jared Meese. 3 completely different lines. Here they come back at us.
That's the beauty of this racetrack. It's be real interesting to see which ones develop the most. But the 6 of Baker out front, he's won here before. Mike Hacker, who helps turn the wrenches on the factory Harley number 6, has had some really solid finishes here as a racer himself. So a lot of strength in that team here tonight.
Baker pulling away out front on the number 6 bike. They said one of the riders have already pulled off the racetrack. I'm not sure if they said 16. Actually, 16's not in here, so it might have been 15 or 17. 17 is Wiles, 15 is Nicole Meese, so one of them having a mechanical issue already on the first lap of time practice. Baker's looking really smooth out front, Chris.
Yeah, he looks good. Lap time at 24.23, a little more than a half a second slower than it was in the first round of practice, so the evidence is there that the racetrack is slowing down a little bit. See Kenny Coolbath on the 2, currently in second with a 24.475, followed by the 42 of Brian Smith, last year's winner with a 24.48. So top 10 guys right now within 0.4 of a second, and Baker looks him back and says, hey, I'm moving forward. That's good for me, as we saw the 1 of Jared Meese sneak on past the 2 of Coolbath. See how the lap times fall, but track appears to be slowing down every lap they go out.
Here comes the 42. Brian Smith moves up to second place on the time charts with a 24.474, just about 0.2 off of the Bullet Brad Baker. It's Baker out front. He's run the very edge of what is partially a cushion as the checkered flag flies, as he had the front wheel in the air. That might not be a good idea. The transponders on those fork tubes, you get that way up in the air, he might not get recorded for that lap, but Baker was excited to lead start to finish.
It certainly showed that it wasn't faster. His last lap being his slowest of the 3-time laps of the 4 that they go around at a 24.6, but he still holds on to the top spot. We see that a lot here. The tires being a little colder tend to give you good laps early on. As they get a little bit of heat in them, they tend to get a little greasy. So the fastest lap for Baker, the very first one under the clock.
We'll see if that holds true in group number 2. It's the 5 of Jake Johnson, 77 Kyle Johnson, no relation, 17F Jared Vandekoy, 32 Sean Bear, 65 Corey Texter, 94K Jake Cunningham, 87 Mick Kirkness, 16 Wyatt McGuire riding a Harley for the first time in his career, the 12 of Jay Maloney, 89 Evan Bear, 28P is Michael Bickerton, national number 67 is Colt Shabolts, 96 Cody Johncox, 20T is Mikey LaBelle from Ontario, Canada, and the 82 is Jeremy Higgins. This is group number 2. For you fans just joining us, this is our first round of official timed qualifying as the bikes make their way to the racetrack, and they'll make sure they're all running before they send them loose, because it's such a quick half mile. They want to make sure they're all at least moving towards the start-finish line before they give them the green flag.
Yeah, get them out of the pits, get them pointed in the right direction. They got to do 180s. We see the 65 of Corey Texter lighten it up off of turn 2. You see a little bit of that aggression there didn't pay off. The Kawasaki lights it up a little bit quicker than the Harley of the 5. But we saw Johnson, was 5th after the first round of practice. Now here in qualifying, after he gets a full lap under his belt, we'll see how he stacks up with the Group 1 guys. We see him fighting for a little bit of traction coming off of turn 2, drifts it up to the Armco wall down the back straightaway, flicks it off into turn 3, trying to get the wheels back in line. He's kind of turning the bike off throttle. He's not really trying to turn it too much on the gas, but he does light it up a little bit off of turn 4.
Corey Texter still in the second spot on the racetrack. He's got company coming up the inside behind him. Jake Johnson's looking really smooth, trying to stay on the rubber, the rubber surface, which is the groove. Johnson's pulling away. Now the time's just jumped up on there.
Yeah, we see Jake Johnson not quite as quick as he was the first time around. Currently in the 15th spot. Evan Bear, 89 on the first time around there. Has the fastest lap of this group, sitting in the 14th spot.
So far, again, that was their first lap. So the second lap's just going in the books now. It looks like Kyle Johnson's made the move into the number 2 spot. Kyle Johnson is our leading candidate, the Saddleman Rookie of the Year right now in the 77. No, he's actually still behind Corey Texter on the racetrack. And he's fighting to keep it down low down here in turns 3 and 4. Corey's all kinds of sideways down there in the middle of 4. Coming down the front straightaways, Johnson, Texter. Here comes Kyle Johnson up the inside looking to take the pass on Corey Texter. Corey has to back off and it
gets
goes
a turn
up high-low.
And goes back underneath, gets a drive. A lot of times, the point of the track is right now, a lot of times you want to aim for the brown dirt. We see the little bit of the blue and the real light, but if you can find yourself a little strip of brown, you're going to get a little bit more forward bite.
Checkered flag flies for the number 5 of Jake Johnson. Corey Texter follows him across the start-finish line with Kyle Johnson right there behind him on the 77 bike. So checkered flag 4, quick laps here at Hagerstown. That's group number 2 of the GNC 1 class. And no change amongst the top 13. All the way down to 14th is Evan Bear. He's listed on a Kawasaki on the 89 bike, moves into 14th. Jake Johnson on the number 5 bike led every lap of that one, but didn't turn in a very fast lap with a 2:4.766, so 4 tenths off, or actually 5 tenths off of our leader's time. Group number 3 is coming up next. It'll be Shayna Texter to lead out the boys on the 52, Brad Hazel on the 41, Brian Hazel on the 14B. Might have those two backwards. 29, Jake Mattia on the 29, 90 W's Wyatt Anderson, 93 is Danny Kelch, 30S Jason Eisenach, 83S is Mike Poe, 71 that is Don Mullen, 69F is Ben Evans, 58 Adam Carpinello, 35 is Will Cato, 21 Duke Erickson and his brother, the 42K Clint Erickson, and Dominic Calendres on the 66Y. Final group, look at them all. It's a mad dash to the first corner.
They want to get out front, set their own pace.
I'd either want to be out the front or I want to be in that big group right now, that's for sure.
Well, we see that with the 42 of Smith. A lot of times, he can go out pretty far to the front, but he usually elects to fall all the way to the back of the field and then kind of ride his own practice session.
I've seen him do that on a mile a lot, but typically I don't remember him doing that very much on a half mile. But man, I don't know if I want to be in that big mess of riders.
Yeah, but we're gonna start. The track is starting to groove up in places, and we start to see how slippery that is. The bikes are getting a little sideways coming off the corner under acceleration. The top guys are going to start chasing the dark brown dirt, and we're going to see lines move around maybe a little bit more than what they have.
But the 29 trying the high line, that is Jake Mattia. It's good to see him out there. This is the first time on this ride for him. That's actually it's got some help from
the McGrain family, yeah.
And it's Scott Power Sports Kawasaki, so a couple of sponsors on that one. The number 29, an excellent ice racer. He's won the ice racing championship the last couple of years and always runs front on the ice, so it looks good to see him out there back on the racetrack.
Yeah, he's been around the game for a while. He's not a rookie. I know he's in Group 3 here, but hasn't raced a ton on the Twins the last couple of years, but he's always been a good 450 rider, especially back in the days when they were running framers. We see him testing the traction on the outside of turn 2 there. Looks like it's drying up a little bit on the upper side of the racetrack. He's getting the thing through the middle of the corner and carrying his momentum.
He's up there running the line where Brad Baker was running, Chris. I mean, looks like maybe he's paying attention to the Brad Baker school. I think he needs to keep it a little bit lower.
Yeah, sometimes you get into the middle of the corner, getting into the corner, you flick it a little bit too hard. If you can't get it turned, it doesn't pay dividends if you can't get it turned through the middle.
Here comes the 30S of Jason Eisenach. He's got a great big billboard out there from the Highs Dairy Stores, and Eisenach's battling for the lead over there, so he's a Maryland rider. He's going to come around and take the lead on that one, so he's got to feel good racing so close to home.
Yeah, the Highs Dairy Stores, it's a great little regional sponsorship for these riders. I know they don't do the entire circuit, but to see Jason Eisenach run toward the front in a qualifying session is good for him, and we're going to have to tip our hats to the local regional sponsor, Heist Dairy, for helping this kid out.
He had to work for it, too. It wasn't like he went out there and led every lap. He actually had to work for it. So that was it for GNC 1 first round. And the times have already disappeared, but we know it's Brad Baker's our fast time. Here comes GNC 2 for their first round of qualifying time practice. 44E, Nick Armstrong. 24J, Brandon Wilhelm. 67M, Dashin Davis Fisher. 27U, Jamison Miner. 11Z, Andrew Luker. 19B, that is Justin Jones. 14A, Dalton Gautier. 54A, Dan Bromley. 30Z is Bronson Bauman. 36B is Colby Carlisle. 23Z, James Monaco. 24F, JR Addison. 23F, Jeffrey Lowry. 16S, Tristan Avery, and the 17C is Sean McNary. Here we go. They're in a hurry.
Yes, they are. We see the 67 way up on the outside, coming off a turn, moves up into the third position on the track. He's very, very good, young, aggressive racer from the Northwest. He gets a little hot in the middle of 1 and 2 there.
It was working for him in the first round. I don't think the moisture's up there anymore like it was earlier, so we'll have to figure out how to keep it a little bit lower on the racetrack.
Yeah, we see the 44 out front, Nick Armstrong, not riding overly aggressive, and sometimes that's how you have to get around this racetrack. As it gets slicker, aggression doesn't really pay dividends, as we see him just kind of tip it off into the corner, not flicking the thing too sideways, keeping the wheels in line under acceleration coming off the corner. And he's pretty much holding this session at bay at the moment, but our fast time at the moment, the 27U, running fourth on the track, Jamison Miner, a time of 25.055.
And he's about the third or fourth, well, actually he's
fourth rider on the racetrack.
Right.
Gets it turned, coming off a 2, starts to run up the inside of the 67M there of Davis Fisher.
Brandon Wilhelm was right there on the 24J. He's looking up the inside on the leader. So it's Nick Armstrong. This is good. This might be a preview of our races a little bit later on. Nick Armstrong's there, Wilhelm is there, and then there's Jamison Miner and Davis Fisher. Those are the top 4 in the point standings. They look like they're pretty even here in this qualifying round of practice.
And riding around 5th on the track and currently 2nd as we come to the checker flag, Dalton Gautier with a 25.097. These guys are starting to move forward a little bit. This is a great preview because I see within 0.2 of a second the top 6. With Davis Fisher, ironically, you know, our point leader, the 6th rider of the 6. Oh, excuse me, Armstrong's our point leader, but Davis drops down to 7th now as JR Addison puts in a time. But, you know, pretty impressive to see our top 8 riders within 0.2 of a second.
Close. Group number 2 is coming up next here at GNC 2. 68A is Revin Ryan Varnes. 94B is Flying Ryan Wells. 16M Austin Helmholtz. 72F Tyler Butts. 63A Jesse Long. 47S Austin Conant. 20J is Ben Lau. 22U is Beland. 24C Peyton Pruitt. 78J is Dylan Phillips. 29A Colin Cunningham. 57J is Thomas. 57A Ryan Conley. 11F Curtis Vanderkoy. The 39J is Nathan Wilson. Those are the riders on the racetrack right now. This is group number 2 of our GNC 2 riders here qualifying at Hagerstown on the half-mile. Jamison Miner so far was our fast time in the first group with a 25.009. We'll see if anybody else in this group can catch him.
I think we're going to see the track slow down a little bit. It's starting to dry out, starting to take a little bit of rubber. As we see Ryan Barnes losing touch a little bit with our leader in this session. But out front, 2 gearing it, saw downshift going into turn 3. I think we're going to see a little bit. That's 94B of
Ryan Wells.
Ryan Wells. He has the chance to put himself up here in the top 5. He did that the first round, but I don't know if the racetrack's going to give that to him this time around.
So far out front, it's Ryan Wells on the 94B. See if he can move up to the leaderboard. See if he can get up there shifting that motorcycle. We got Ryan Barnes back there, actually, I think he's a 3rd-generation racer, is he not? Kevin Barnes, his dad, won a few nationals on the number 89 bike.
Yeah, 3rd generation, the Barnes brothers, Kevin's father. 3rd-generation racer in the case of Ryan.
Ryan Wells pulling away, 94B.
Hasn't really put a solid lap time in just yet. I think we might have a little issue with the timing here. The 29A of Colin Cunningham from this group has moved up, but I guess we don't have an issue. We didn't.
Right.
I didn't see that number 94B all the way at the top there at 24.987. So he's made a liar out of me in the sense that the racetrack has picked up speed, or he's
picked up.
He's adapted to the changes in it really well. He is 2-gearing it. Comes off the corner, gets the thing hooked up, grabs a gear, runs it off into turn 1, does a little tap with the shifter as his foot's on his way to the ground. Gets it through the middle of the corner, gets a turn, going the other way. That's how you win Hagerstown. He's going real fast. Goes even faster with a 24.930. Jesse Long, the 63A from this group, into 11th.
Okay, we're ready. Go ahead. All right. I believe Danny Medine is caught up with one of our riders. Let's go trackside with Danny Medine.
All right, thanks to you guys. Brandon Robinson, you're kind of on redemption mode this weekend. We just went through practice and qualifying. How are track conditions?
The track's pretty good. It's probably the best it's been in a couple of years. We're just struggling with the drive a little bit. You know, it's a new bike for me this year, so every race is a learning curve, and we're just taking it at one practice at a time right now. So I think we got a couple ideas to make it better, and hopefully we can get somewhere towards the front.
So definitely keep an eye on Brandon Robinson. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Danny. That was Brandon Robinson down there. This is group number 3, the final group in our first round of official time practice. GNC2 riders, 67J is Emmendorfer, 27S is Hayden Avery, 22A is Harvitt, 51E is Casey Cahoon, 18C is Nick McFadden, 20B is McKnight, 88C is another Beland, 39B is Scott Barrett, 44A is Alexander, 17A, that is Harris, 98J is Pfeiffer, 46S is Valentine, 37A is Corey Strickler, 43C is Widener, and I know for sure that the 44A, Jerry Alexander, he just turned pro just for this race right here at Hagerstown.
The son of legendary cylinder head man Jerry Alexander.
Really?
Yes.
You got.
Or excuse me, Ronnie Alexander.
How do you know all this stuff?
Well, I've been around a while, but
Okay,
Ronnie,
I'll give you that.
Jerry's father, Ronnie, has been around for many years. Did a lot of development with Harley-Davidson on the cylinder heads of the XR750. May have even had a little something to do with the design of it. Very, very intellectual family. Pretty sharp in the engineering department.
Good battle out front. Looks like Harvitt on the 22. He's got company with the 27S. That's Hayden Avery. That's Tristan Avery's older brother right there, battling for the lead.
Yeah, it's good to see Hayden out here riding, going pretty well. Hasn't raced a whole lot in the last few years. Was one of the top amateurs in the country when he was giving it a run, but in recent years kind of decided not to race a little bit. Here he is back out, giving it a rip. Good to see him here.
Battling for the lead out front, down the front straightaway they go into turn number 1. This is our third and final group of GNC2 riders. We'll probably take a short break. I did hear some in my AMA Pro radio. There was some sprinkling going on out there in some parts of the racetrack. They're trying to keep an eye on it. We want everybody to get qualified for tonight's program for sure. This is the final group of GNC2 riders. Checkered flag is going to fly right now for Harvitt on the 22A. Harvitt take big wreck coming off of turn number 4 on the front straightaway.
Rider down. Couple riders down.
Red flag is out. Couple
Both riders
are
up,
down. I see the
up and walking. 2 bikes laying on the ground.
Well, both riders are walking around a little bit. It's on our big screen right now.
A little bit dazed. Their motorcycles are kind of turned in the wrong direction.
Jay is one of the riders went down. That's Emmendorfer, and didn't quite hear who the other one was. But good news is they're both up and okay. One of them is sat back down right now. So, man, scary place to go down.
Yeah, it's coming off turn 4, trying to get the bike pointed under hard acceleration.
Let's put our hands together. Both of our riders have picked themselves up, and they're on their feet. I believe that's the 51E of Casey Cahoon and the 69J William Emmendorfer. And, man, that bike is mangled. It looked like it went for quite a wild ride.
Well, this hard clay out here can wreak havoc on any motorcycle. I know the motocross-based bikes are pretty durable, but out here when you stick a handlebar into the clay here, it just wants to stop it in a hurry.
It looked like it tumbled pretty hard, so they're getting, like I said, both riders are okay. Possibly going to get them checked out right now. They said they need some floor dry out there on the racetrack. Good news is it's pretty far off of the racing surface. It's very far on the inside of turn number 4. As you can see, the AMA crews taking a look at it right now. They picked up most of the big parts already, but again, Casey Cahoon on the 51E and the 69J of William Emmendorfer, the 2 riders that did go down. Good news is they both got up, so that is a tough break for both of these riders. Hopefully, I'm not sure if either one of them have a backup machine to go to, but there's several bikes in there, and I know a lot of people, I heard that the 51E actually traveled here with Andrew Luker, the 11Z. Maybe they can come up with a backup motorcycle if he is okay and good to ride.
Yeah.
Well, I believe we're going to step off here for just a little bit, let them do some track maintenance, so we'll probably take a short break, maybe get a word from our sponsors, put on some music for you folks here at Hagerstown Speedway. We'll be right back in just a moment with our final round of qualifying time practice here at Hagerstown. We'll be back.
AMA Pro Flat Track Racing. We make tires in America for racing and street riding, such as our Dunlop American Elite that gives Harley-Davidson riders high mileage at great handling.
Saddlemen is the official seat company of AMA Pro Racing and proud sponsor of the AMA Pro Flat Track Rookie of the Year. Saddlemen is producing the industry's most advanced seats for over 25 years and has introduced a line of innovative seats for both road and track use. Made in the USA, Saddlemen seats are designed by enthusiasts and racers. Each Saddlemen seat is handcrafted and features patented technology and advanced materials. Saddlemen is the official seat company of AMA Pro Racing and proud sponsor of the AMA Pro Flat Track Rookie of the Year.
All right, guys, I have Kenny Coolbet Jr. down here. You've had a lot of success here in the past. 2011, you took a win. 2007 and 2008, I do believe. What is the key to being successful at a half-mile track?
Smooth and consistent, keep your momentum up, and track's actually slick, dry slick right now, so hopefully this rain helps it out. And yeah, just it's my type of track. I grew up on this stuff, and it's kind of like my forte. So it's hopefully the rain holds off, and we put on a good show for all you fans.
Now, last year you had a tough break here. I wasn't able to witness this, but what kind of things as a crew and a team can you kind of watch out for?
Just learn from your mistakes, really, just like us riders, it's racing, anything could happen. So it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, but you keep your head up and move forward. And, looking forward to tonight. It's this place owes me one. I'd hate to say it, but I feel good and made a few changes, and we should be good.
So you guys definitely keep an eye on Kenny Coolbet Jr. I think he's looking for the top spot.